Hi everyone, my name is Mila, you're at LOA Archives, and today I'm doing the Anti-TBR Tag. Roll the intro. Okay, so for those that don't know, the Anti-TBR Tag is basically a book tag that goes around on YouTube. It's been going around for a while, but since I just joined, I decided I would sprinkle some controversy on my channel. So basically this one is where you answer a series of questions about books you don't want to read or authors you sort of want to avoid, sort of thing, you know? So yes, it'll be a tad controversial, perhaps. We're in a new setting. Because there is someone sleeping in my room, so I can't wake him up. My baby cousins. We are in a new setting. This is my brother's room, and they have a nice white wall. Anyway. So for those that also don't know, TBR stands for to be read, and this actually usually refers to either the books you own and you haven't read, or books you borrowed from the library but haven't read, or whatever, or it refers to the want to read shelf on Goodreads, which is a popular book tracking app, so, and website. Question number 1 is, popular book you have no interest in. Oh goodness. First one is gonna be ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I think I either read only like 50 pages of the first book, or I read the first book completely and I did not like it. So there's that. I have no interest in reading this book. So I'm sorry. The next one is Serpent Dove. This is pitched as like I think it's like sort of like a witch hunter, witch kind of thing. So, you know, Matthias and Nina vibes from Six of Crows. But honestly, I have no interest in this. It's just, I have no, it's not catching my attention the way an enemies to lovers book would. I love the trope enemies to lovers. It's one of my favorite tropes of all time, but I don't know if I want to read this one. So yeah, I'm just gonna say Serpent Dove. Yeah. Another one is Game of Thrones. I think it's the fact that, you know, there's so much like killing. Game of Thrones is sort of known to like introduce a character and then kill him 5 pages later. Usually it's a brutal sort of killing. So that's sort of putting me off. Also the TV show, the popularity of the TV show. I feel like the disappointment that was caused by the last season of the TV show started me off on the books. Also the fact that the author hasn't released the last Game of Thrones book. So it's not just that, it's just I have no interest in reading a book that is so violent and intense, I guess. I remember like 16 maybe, I tried to read the first chapter. I don't even remember if there was like a prologue or whatever, but I was so confused. I like could not keep track of anything that's going on. I think someone died or they discovered a dead body. I don't remember, but we're not doing that. The next question is, question number 2 is classical book or author you have no interest in. I'm gonna get this out of the way. F. Scott Fitzgerald. I, unlike most people, never had to read The Great Gatsby for English. I think it's sort of required reading at a certain age. I think it's like grade 10 or something, grade 9 in high school or whatever. I never had to read it, so I have no interest in reading it. So yeah, that's that. Another one is Charles Dickens. I have no interest in reading Charles Dickens. Absolutely no interest in reading Charles Dickens. I have no explanation for that one, to be honest. It's just, his books sort of intimidate me, and I don't know, I'm just not a huge classics person, so classics as in stuff you're forced to read in English class. Question number 3 is an author you have no interest in. I'm gonna do several authors here. First off, Casey McQuiston. I'm not a romance reader, so you can add Colleen Hoover and like Penelope Douglas to that. Rather not be traumatized after reading books. Another one is Kerri Maniscalco. She wrote Kingdom of the Wicked, which is a fantasy romance, I think, YA, that turns to NA. I'm like, I have no interest in reading that. I've had my fair share of enemies to lovers. So that's that. Then there's like Cassandra Clare. Remember reading City of Bones? Remember reading Shadowhunters? The first one? I read the first one, but that, it just didn't vibe with me. I might try, what's it called? The Infernal Devices? But for now, I am not reading Cassandra Clare. I have no interest in reading Cassandra Clare. Another one is, again, Sarah J. Maas. I have no interest in reading her books, new or old. Akatar, Throne of Glass, Crescent City. Anyway, I'm back. So, what did I say? Sarah J. Maas? No interest. Anyways, Sarah J. Maas, no interest. I'm gonna lower this a bit. No interest. Jennifer L. Armentrout, the author of From Blood and Ash. No interest. You can sense a theme here that it's like fantasy romance stuff. Emphasis on the romance, less on the fantasy. And also that it's BookTok favorites, so another one is Naomi Novik. I tried reading her book Spinning Silver, and it felt like it was dragging for a long time. And then I guess it's mainly reviews that are putting me off. I have no interest in her The Deadly Education series. I tried reading it, but again, it didn't click, so it's just not I'm not very interested in it. So that's that. And then we have Adam Silvera, author of They Both Die at the End. Again, I don't like to come out of books traumatized. I think it's more like the contemporary sort of aspect too, the romantic aspect, I guess. Again, BookTok favorite. So, yeah. Question number 4. A problematic author / book you have no interest in. The thing with this whole problematic thing and cancel culture is that I don't call them problematic. I just sort of take the criticism that is given and I sort of see for myself if I want to read it, if I don't want to read it. So, for example, TJ Klune's The House in the Cerulean Sea. I heard that his inspiration was the 60s scoop, which for those that don't know, in Canada specifically, where I live, during that time, Indigenous children were essentially kidnapped and given to white families to be adopted to assimilate them further into society. And so he admitted that he took that as an inspiration, and the pitch for his book is that there are these children that have powers and that are special and that live in this like orphanage in a sense, and it's just like that's a bit iffy. They're taking away from their parents, so it's a bit iffy for me, and I'd rather read books by Indigenous authors than read something that has been admittedly like based on something as traumatic as that, because the effects of that are still, seen and felt today, despite it being a while back. So that's one. Another one is J. Kristoff. I tried reading his Nevernight trilogy. It didn't click. How do I explain this? I know he has another trilogy based off of like East Asian culture, and I know that there's some controversy about how he sort of used Asian culture, and I'm not too well read, but I don't know much about that controversy. But again, it's just I tried Nevernight, it didn't click with me, so I don't plan on reading, but I know that he's a bit controversial. He's a bit of a controversial author because there's a lot of sort of controversy around him. There's a lot of negative, well, not really, but there's a lot of remarks about him in a sense. I hope that makes sense. Again, I don't really follow the crowd, but like I do tend to do a little bit of research if I'm unsure about how I feel about the author. So, moving on. Question number 5. Author you have read a couple of books from and was like, not for me. She's gonna be mentioned a lot. Sarah J. Maas. I read up to the 6th book. This was before the 7th book came out. And the thing is, I'm surprised I made it that far. And it's just that the book, the character of Aelin, or Selena, or however you say her name, I don't even know at this point, she went from being a super cool, like sort of badass, kick butt character, who's like this really cool assassin, to a sort of damsel in distress, and I heard that she loses her powers at the end, so I don't like that trope where the sort of main character loses their power. I just don't like that, and I didn't like where the series was going. It felt too much romance and less fantasy. The moment that whatever his name was. Yeah, the moment that Aelin's like mate appeared. It's the whole thing with the word usage of the word mate that really irks me. You know what I mean? So that's that. Another one is John Green. I feel like John Green, okay, I'm gonna use 2 specific books for this. We have Looking for Alaska and Paper Towns, okay? Now, keep in mind that I read these when I was like probably 15 or something, right? So I was in my teens. I read The Fault in Our Stars when it came out, so I was like, what? 2012, so I was like, what, 10 years old? Or I don't remember. Anyways, whatever year that was, just subtract like 2. So in Looking for Alaska, you have this guy who becomes friends with this girl. She's like all mysterious and stuff like that, and then there's a tragedy that happens. But we're sort of, the guy is counting, when he's reciting the story, when he's telling the story, it's sort of like before the tragedy, and then the tragedy hits, and then after the tragedy. So we don't know what the tragedy is. He becomes sort of obsessed with this girl, and she like teaches him, I don't know, how to be a cool teenager, I guess. I don't know. And then you have Paper Towns, where it seems like it's the same character, just with different names and a few defining different features. He's obsessed with this girl, and she's like quirky and not like other girls and popular, and he's like, why is she dating this douchebag who's like the school's most popular guy, when he like cheated on her or something, or like he's not nice to her, and he's like, and the main character's like, I could do better, yada yada yada, right? Because I'm obviously the better guy, right? I'm the better choice. And then again, the girl disappears, sort of, and in Paper Towns she disappears to another town. It's the whole Paper Towns thing. And her main quirk that the guy was like, oh my god, this is where she is, that she put letters, like capital letters, randomly in a word. It's like a SpongeBob meme, right? And then you have the random like capital letters, right? But that was her quirk, okay? That was her thing, you know? And it was just the stupidest. And then half the book was him and his friends trying to get to that town where she was, and then them trying to not miss graduation day or whatever, something like that. And it was just like, it took them like a day and a half to get to the town, and then a day and a half back. And it was just hour 1, da 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 da, hour 2, da da da, hour 3, da da da. It was the stupidest. It was, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And it felt like it was just looking for whichever one came first. The other one, between Looking for Alaska and Paper Towns, was like the same thing, just a little bit different, you know? So I can't. Never again. So that's question number 5. Question number 6 is a genre you have no interest in reading. This is a fairly straightforward answer. Horror, thriller, and romance. Horror because I'm a scaredy cat, and one time I finished like, And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I could not fall asleep after because I was spooked. And it's not even a horror book, you know? Thriller because I'm also a scaredy cat, and those are sort of like spooky with a very fast paced, and they're very like adrenaline sort of high sort of thing. I have no interest in reading them. So, and romance because I'll pass. Thank you. I don't know. A lot of romance, they tend to have like secondhand embarrassment moments. So I can't read that. I can't watch it, which is why I don't watch a lot of TV shows, because I feel that secondhand embarrassment so it's so real for me. I'm like, I can't watch this. Like, I get anxiety. So anyways, that's that. Question number 7, a book you bought but will never read. I'm gonna say The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I think I wanted something like 6 of Crows, but I tried to read a couple of pages and I don't think I'll continue. Anything, I can just borrow it from the library, so that's not gonna be like a huge problem. But I am going to like give that one away. So if you want a copy, brand new copy, never read, of the Raven Boys, just message me on Instagram or something, so, and we can work out the price. Okay, so the next question is question number 8. It's a series you have no interest in or you DNF'd. I DNF'd Throne of Glass, as mentioned before. Nobody warned me that it went from YA to NA, and I am scarred forever. I don't remember what book it was, but I was literally sitting in the kitchen drinking tea, and then it went from YA to NA real quick, and I was no review mentioned this, okay? No review ever mentioned this, and I'm so mad. Still so mad. I was not mentally prepared for it. Another one is Twilight. I read the first book. I have no interest in reading the rest, just because I feel like reading the book, I was like Bella, and I was like, no thoughts, head empty. Didn't Edward say that, like, he's like, Bella, I can't read in your mind? Maybe that's why he couldn't read her mind, because she literally had nothing in her head that was to be read. There was no thoughts in her head, so Edward could not read her head because there was nothing there. Anyways, I have no interest in reading the rest of the series. I have no interest in Midnight Sun because it's literally, how much better could it get? Like, really? Honestly, the bar's on the ground at this point. Another one is The Hunger Games. I don't remember if I ever finished the 3rd book, but we're just gonna say, for the sake of this video, that I did. And I have no interest in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Nope, no interest whatsoever. And the last book, so question number 9, is a new release you're not interested in. I want to say whatever BookTok is excited for, but I'm gonna give some actual explanations. We're gonna go with The Final Gambit by, was it Jennifer Lynn Barnes or something? The 3rd book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. I have no interest in that. Then we have Kingdom of the Feared, which is the 3rd book in the, like, Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy by Kerri Maniscalco. And then we have First to Die at the End, which is like the prequel to They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. So, and add whatever sequels and new books BookTok is excited about. And that is the end of the video. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell icon so you don't miss another video. My schedule is a bit hectic, so bear with me for now. Be sure to follow my Instagram, my blog, subscribe to the newsletter. You'll just receive an email whenever I post a new, like, post. That's literally it. That's literally it. There's nothing else. Subscribe to my Medium page if you want to see my unfiltered thoughts about books and life in general. And yeah, that's it. I will see you